Well, we're going to cross live now to Beirut, talk to correspondent Adam Pletz, who joins us from there. Firstly, Adam, the Syrian government then tightening its grip even further, as we saw there on eastern Ghouta.
Right, but there has been relative calm, certainly in the northern pocket, which eastern Ghouta is now being cut into three areas, but certainly in the northern pocket of Douma, there's been relative calm there. In the southern areas, though, there was fighting yesterday and overnight, according to Syrian Observatory for Human Rights. There are at least 25 people killed in government airstrikes. But at the same time, in the last couple of days, there have been evacuations of some of the wounded, not in very large numbers, but 50-plus people who are seriously wounded, civilians, that is, who've been seriously wounded in the fighting, were evacuated. That partly as a result of an agreement between Jaish al-Islam, the largest group in the northern pocket still held by the rebels, between them and the Russians. And we also understand that there could be an aid convoy today. Certainly they will attempt to deliver aid to Douma, but let's bear in mind that the last aid convoys have run into difficulties, and these things are never certain until those convoys actually reach their delivery points, and that aid is offloaded.
And Adam, on a day like today, people trying to put this into context 7 years on. Where did all this start, and where might it end?
Right. Well, today is officially considered the anniversary, as it were. It's the 15th of March is officially given as the start date of the Syrian uprising, and it all began when a group of young boys in the southern city of Deraa graffitied on walls in that town to the effect that they wanted the fall of the government, and they were arrested. One of the boys tortured and killed, and this triggered demonstrations in Damascus, which were originally peaceful, calling for reforms, but partly in response to the way that those demonstrations were treated. There were very harsh crackdowns on them. They very quickly turned into an armed uprising. Amongst the first places to take to arms was Homs, and I think it's fair to say that at the start of the revolution, it very much looked as if the opposition had the momentum, and many people were giving and saying it was only a matter of time before President Assad would be removed, and yet now Assad looks perhaps more secure than he ever has. He holds the vast majority of the population and of the territory of Syria, and of course this is largely attributed to international support that he's got, first and foremost from the Russians and airstrikes, but also from Iran and Hezbollah. But it's been an extremely complicated war. If you look to the number of factions who have been involved, as we just said, the government with support from Russia, Iran and Hezbollah, the opposition with support from Turkey and Gulf states, and the opposition itself split into many and various factions. Then we have the bulk of the battle against the Islamic State group, of course with support from the Americans. And when you look at this mix of players there, the fact that the Turks are now fighting the Kurds in northern Syria, there's still a long way to go in this war, and that's something that was pointed out by Jan Egeland, the senior advisor to the UN on the Syria case. And even after Ghouta, the battle that's now taking place to the east of Damascus finishes, there will nonetheless be further fighting in the months ahead, notably in Idlib and Deraa. Of course, that's only going to cause more human suffering in a war that, by some accounts, has already killed 500,000 people, displaced more than 11 million, many of whom have become refugees, and created one of the world's largest refugee problems since the Second World War.
Adam, thanks very much. Adam Pletz there, our correspondent in Beirut. Apologies for the sound quality there as we were talking to Adam.